Malaria, one of humanity's oldest enemies. A disease so powerful it has shaped our genetics, influenced wars, and still kills hundreds of thousands of people every single year. But where exactly are we in our fight against malaria? How did we get here? And what comes next? Come along as we take a journey through malaria's history and then see how all of that has brought us to where we are now with vaccines, research, and proper real hope. Hi, my name is John Modoko, and I'm a 400 biochemistry and molecular biology student at the Department of Basic and Biomedical Sciences here in UHAS. And today, we will be having an up-to-date look of the world's current fight with malaria. Stay tuned.
Preview.
Okay, first, history. Now let's make it as simple as possible. Let's take the history as 11 quick facts you probably didn't know, almost like you knew, about malaria. Fact 1. The word malaria literally comes from the Italian words mal and aria, which means bad air. For the longest time, people actually thought that malaria was caused by swampy, smelly, obnoxious air, but they weren't completely wrong though. Malaria tends to thrive near water where mosquitoes breed, but the real culprit will always remain the mosquito itself. Fact 2. Unlike most diseases caused by bacteria or viruses, malaria is caused by a parasite called Plasmodium. There are 5 different kinds of Plasmodium, with falciparum being the most prevalent and dangerous, basically the Messi of Plasmodiums. Once an infected mosquito bites you, the parasite first attacks your liver, and then invades your red blood cells, and then multiplies until the next mosquito comes along and carries it forward. That cycle of liver to blood to mosquito is what makes malaria so tough to defeat. Fact 3. Here's something wild. Malaria has literally shaped human DNA. The sickle cell trait, which is a mutation in our hemoglobin, gives protection against severe malaria. That is because the sickling shape of the red blood cell prevents the malaria parasites from thriving within the human environment. In regions with heavy malaria, more people tend to carry this trait. However, if you inherit 2 copies of this trait, you develop sickle cell disease. So this serves as a nasty double-edged sword. It's a powerful reminder of how malaria has influenced human survival itself. Fact 4. For centuries, the only known cure for malaria was quinine, which is from the bark of the cinchona tree. European colonizers called it Jesuits' powder, and fun fact, tonic water still contains quinine. That is why it tastes better. Fact 5. It wasn't until 1897 where Ronald Ross made the breakthrough identifying mosquitoes as the source of malaria. Before that, as I said, people thought it spread through dirty water or bad hygiene. And Ross's discovery ended up winning him a Nobel Prize and changed the world's understanding of the disease forever. Number 6. Did you know we almost eradicated malaria? Well, in the mid-20th century, DDT was sprayed everywhere. In some regions, malaria almost disappeared, but mosquitoes soon developed resistance, and the environmental damage that DDT caused by killing birds and polluting water led to its global ban. Moving on to Fact 7. In the 1950s and 60s, the World Health Organization actually launched its first big campaign to eradicate malaria globally. It worked in places like in Europe and the US, but in Africa, where malaria is most intense, the program failed. Still, it pushed forward major research that benefits us today. Numero 8. In the 1970s, a Chinese scientist Tuyu rediscovered artemisinin from a herb used in traditional medicine. This compound revolutionized malaria treatment, and she won the Nobel Prize in 2015. Even today, artemisinin-based combination therapies, or ACTs, are still the gold standard for treating malaria. Fact 9. Closer to home now, by the 80s and 90s, researchers at Ghana's Noguchi Memorial Institute confirmed what patients were already experiencing at the time. Chloroquine, the main malaria drug for decades, no longer worked. Resistance had spread. and by 2005, Ghana officially stopped using chloroquine. That was a major turning point in treatment here. Fact 10. With chloroquine gone, artemisinin-based combination therapies took over. ACTs remain our frontline treatment, though even now, unfortunately, resistance is a looming threat in parts of Asia and Africa. And last but not least, fact 11. In 2001, the World Malaria Partnership was launched, which brought governments, NGOs, and researchers together in a global effort. Billions of dollars were poured into nets, drugs, and research, which caused a real momentum shift against the disease. And that global momentum, has brought us where we are today. Today, malaria is still one of the world's deadliest diseases. Shocking, right? Well, in 2022, there were about 249 million cases and 600,000 deaths worldwide. Africa showed us about a whopping 95% of those cases, with Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, and Ghana among the hardest hit. Funny enough, the cases still rose in 2023 by an additional 11 million cases. Even though since the year 2000, control efforts have averted 2.2 billion cases and saved about 12.7 million lives, there's more to be done to save hundreds of thousands of people each year. You see these graphs? The yellow was where we're supposed to get to after 2015. The blue is actually where we went. There's more work to be done, but there's hope. And in 2021, the WHO approved the first malaria vaccine, RTS. Very, very catchy, very, very catchy. And in 2023, Ghana became one of the very first countries in the world to approve and roll out the next generation vaccine, R21, which is an actually catchy name. These vaccines don't give full protection, as in, it doesn't mean that when you take these vaccines, you'll no longer get malaria. But combined with treated nets, ACTs, and testing, they could save tens of thousands of lives each year. But that's not all though. Scientists are going even further past vaccines, using technology in ways that sounds almost like science fiction. Right now, scientists are working on what's called a gene drive. Imagine programming mosquitoes so that when they reproduce, they pass along a gene that makes them unable to carry the malaria parasites. Over time, more and more of the mosquito population would lose the ability to spread malaria. This isn't about killing the mosquitoes, not at all. It's about reprogramming them. Trials are already being studied in African countries, including Ghana's neighbors. Of course, there are debates, especially surrounding the possibility if changing a mosquito's DNA has ecological side effects. But the potential is very huge. It could wipe out malaria transmission at the source. Number 2, it's unfortunate, but the parasites do fight back. Just like bacteria become resistant to antibiotics, malaria parasites are showing resistance to current medicines, even ACTs. Which is why scientists are also testing out new drug candidates, including next generation artemisinin derivatives, or even entirely new drug classes altogether. Some are in phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials right now. The goal is to stay ahead of the parasites so treatment doesn't collapse like it did for chloroquine in the past. And then there's AI. Computers are being trained to predict malaria outbreaks by analyzing rainfall, temperature, and satellite images, basically giving us a weather forecast for malaria. AI is also being used to screen thousands of potential drug molecules in silico, that is, on a computer, before they are even tested out in the lab. This massively speeds up drug discovery. All these sound amazing, and with the way technology is actually advancing, can become soon a reality. But until then, the small steps matter the most. The individual efforts to take care of yourselves are what matter. Number 1, I'll suggest that you sleep under treated bed nets, especially if you like to sleep outside. Number 2, and come closer for this, do not self-medicate. Instead, get tested quickly if you start showing any of these symptoms, such as fever, chills, headache, fatigue, loss of appetite. Self-medication when you don't have malaria can lead to exposure of the parasite to more ACTs, helping them to develop resistance quickly. And number 3, when you are prescribed a drug, complete your medication. If you actually have malaria, not completing your medication can lead to resistance building up within your body. And if you were to relapse, the drug may not work again. Do all of these because malaria is beatable and your actions count. Take care of yourself first. Malaria has shaped human history for thousands of years, but today we are closer now than ever to ending it. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and then share. Let me know in the comments, what's the most surprising thing you've learned about malaria today? Peace.